If you're in the market for a 3-row luxury Japanese family SUV, it doesn't get much better than an Acura MDX. This vehicle has been the safe choice for families for the last 25 years, and for 2025, it's time for Acura to give this vehicle its first refresh. We're talking about new styling in the front and the rear, updated wheels, and of course on the inside, upgraded technology with a new 12.3-inch touchscreen. So as you can see, this week, we're actually out here in Encinitas, California with the first ever MDX A-Spec with advanced package, and the big question I want answered, for those of you who are looking for the ultimate Japanese 3-row family luxury SUV, has Acura managed to perfect it with this new MDX? Stay tuned to find out. Hey guys, I want to interrupt this video for a brief announcement to give a shout out to today's sponsor. Now, most of you probably have known this, but I've been doing these YouTube videos for well over a decade, and while it pains me to admit this, I sadly don't have as much hair on my head as I did back in my early 20s. Now, hair loss is a hereditary thing that literally affects 2 out of 3 guys before they reach the age of 35, and this is where Keeps comes into play because they offer FDA-approved hair loss treatment plans, as well as 2-in-1 options that you can combine to essentially accelerate your results. Those additional options is what I actually enjoy using the most. Keeps offers things like a thickening shampoo, a thickening conditioner, and a thickening styling pomade that I pretty much use every day prior to all of my video shoots. These products are essentially formulated to make your thinning hair appear thicker, and they are formulated by a lot of hair loss treatment experts. The other great thing about Keeps is because they are online, they offer 24/7 support and access to a licensed medical professional through your online portal. So what are you waiting for, guys? Whether you're looking to stop hair loss, stimulate hair growth, or simply take better care of your hair, Keeps has you covered. So big thank you to Keeps for sponsoring this video and for the free product. And to get started on your special offer, be sure to go to www.keeps.com/redline or simply click in the link in the description below. That's www.keeps.com/redline. And now let's get back to the video. So when Acura first introduced the all-new 4th generation MDX, it had to be repositioned in their lineup because remember, at the time, the flagship RLX was discontinued, meaning that the MDX was now the flagship vehicle of the Acura family here in the US. Now, before we start talking about the styling changes, let me go ahead and pop the hood and remind you guys what's powering the A-Spec model. Now, technically, this is a new trim for 2025 called the A-Spec Advance. It sits at the top of the hierarchy if you don't include the Type S, and all MDXs come with this base engine. It's a 3.5-liter naturally aspirated gasoline direct injection V6 with double overhead cams. Technically, it's an all-new engine design that was first introduced in the MDX. Now Honda uses a version of this engine in the Pilot. And in the Acura, it makes 290 horsepower, which is 5 more versus what you get in the Pilot, and 267 pound-feet of torque. It all goes out through a 10-speed automatic transmission. That's an Acura design transmission. And this vehicle, you can take your pick between either front-wheel drive or super handling all-wheel drive. Technically, the A-Specs only come with super handling all-wheel drive. Now, in terms of fuel economy, this engine is rated at 19 in the city, 25 on the highway. That's on premium gas. It has an 18.5-gallon fuel tank. You're looking at around 385 miles of range on a full tank, which is average. If you guys are looking for better efficiency, some competitors do offer hybrid or turbocharged offerings. In terms of 0 to 60 performance, Acura doesn't quote that. The top speed of this vehicle should be around 110 miles an hour, and it's a mid-size crossover. You can tow up to 5,000 pounds. The front-wheel drive versions will tow up to 3,500 pounds. As this model sits here, it weighs in at just over 4,500 pounds. In case you're wondering, if you need more power, there is a Type S version with a turbo V6. The Type S is also around 200 pounds heavier versus the base engine. But let's go ahead and close up this hood and talk about the exterior styling changes. Now, first of all, this color is a pretty awesome color. It's one of my favorite blues. It's called Apex Blue Pearl. It's exclusive to, I believe, the A-Spec models and, of course, the Type S. You can see the hood itself has a lot of hood creases and bulges. The color really shines with a lot of metallic fleck here in the California sun. And then you can see the grille. The Diamond Pentagon grille has been updated this year for 2025, where you have a new gloss black insert. Of course, with the diamonds echoed throughout, you have the Acura large logo here, which houses a new radar sensor for the Acura Watch 360 Plus. Now, all of them come standard, of course, with that full driver assistance, but there are a couple of new features that's exclusive to the Type S. We'll talk about that in the driving scene in a separate video for the Type S in general. You can see the Diamond Pentagon grille did lose its chrome frame, its border around it, so it has like a frameless Diamond Pentagon. We first saw that on the Acura Integra. It flows really nicely into the updated and darkened full LED headlights with the chicane style LED daytime running light and turn signal, full LED low and high beams. You can see the lower splitter has also been upgraded. This actually reminds you a lot of the new Type S with the new gloss black and the larger air intakes and grille openings. Of course, some of them are functional. Some of those over there are not functional. I believe the Type S has more functional vents to the side because the turbo V6 requires the cooling. There's also a new newly designed LED fog light look. And then you can see the front fascia is just a lot more edgy, a lot more aggressive. But let me know in the comment section below if you guys like the new look of this thing. Now, of course, moving to the side profile, this is just a heavy refresh. So dimensionally, the new MDX hasn't really changed. It still rides on a new Acura exclusive premium architecture, which I feel like Honda technically borrowed as well for the new Pilot, although that's just my theory. It's just, I haven't confirmed that with Acura. But in terms of the overall length, this is kind of in between the Lexus RX and the Lexus TX. So it's 198.5 inches long. Its wheelbase is 113.8 inches long. Again, a TX is around 203 inches long, and RX is around 192 inches long. You can see the wheels. These are the new Berliner Black 20-inch wheels that you get on the A-Spec model. It's wrapped in a 255 by 50 R20 Bridgestone Allenza Sport all-season tire. Keep in mind, if you guys want a bigger wheel and tire, the Type S offers a 21-inch wheel that's also a half an inch wider. Brakes measure 13.8 inches at the front, clamped down by just a 2-piston floating caliper, 13-inch rotors at the back. This car also comes with a steel sprung all-independent suspension, no adaptive dampers or air suspension. You get around 7.3 inches of ground clearance, which should be enough for most people. People technically don't take MDXs off-road. You can see the wheel arch trim here. The wheel arch trim is unpainted. It's kind of like a flat black look to it. If you guys want a full paint finish, you can technically buy that if you guys want an advanced trim or a technology package model. You can see there's also a subtle little A-Spec badge here with more black accents, black painted side mirrors, which are power folding, integrated turn signals. There's also cameras around the actual vehicle as well. I also appreciate the gloss black here along the window trim. And then you can see at the roof, that panoramic glass roof is standard. It also opens up to vent air. There's also a low profile black roof rail, which is great if you guys need to put stuff on the roof. And I have to also ask you guys this color combination, the bright red interior with the Apex blue. I think it's a little bit too much like Superman to me, but let me know in the comment section below if you guys would rock something like this. It's definitely very, very bold. Moving to the rear of the vehicle, things look pretty much the same as last year. You have the same style for the full LED taillight with the LED daytime or LED turn signal, LED taillight design. They're a little bit darker finish. There's also an A-Spec badge, as you can see there, and a lot of the chrome badging you see here can actually be changed to a black badge if you guys want through the dealership. You can see down here, instead of the quad outlet exhaust you get on the Type S, you just get a rectangular dual outlet exhaust system along with these nicely integrated parking sensors. Now, in terms of the cargo capacity, a power liftgate that's hands-free is also included as standard. And as you can see, the MDX has average to slightly below average cargo figures. And that's because this vehicle is a little bit smaller than most of its competitors. You get 16.1 cubic feet of total space back here, which, as you can see, the third row is standard. It's a pretty usable amount. If you guys like, you can actually lift up this little floor here and it reveals a pretty deep storage compartment. I even have room in here to actually put my backpack back here. And there's also another side where you can flip it around and reveal just like this hard plastic area if you want to put something wet and muddy back here. You can also kind of push this down and you kind of lock that in place if you want. I can fold down this back seat here, or this third row. It expands the cargo to around 38 cubic feet of space. Now 38 is also pretty good. Keep in mind, Acura offers two different dimension numbers on their website. 48 was the other option, I believe, and that's because they're including the space underneath the floor. If you fold down the second row, Acura says you get a maximum of 71.4 cubic feet. So 71.4 is certainly decent, but just keep in mind its main rival, the new one from Lexus, the TX, offers up to 96 cubic feet of space. So you are giving up a ton of cargo room compared to its Lexus rival. So on the inside of this 2025 Acura MDX A-Spec with Advanced, things get a little bit nicer and more techy thanks to some new features that Acura is introducing. First of all, this trim level here comes with these essentially the same sport seats that you found from the 2024 Type S, minus of course the Type S badging. You can see these are the premium Milano leather bucket seats, which are adjustable in 16 different ways. They're heated and ventilated. They offer 3-person memory on both the driver's seat and on the passenger seat. And they also, for the first time, offer a 9-way massage feature. So if you guys want the massaging seats, previously you had to buy the Type S, but now you can get it on the Advanced package and on this A-Spec Advanced, which is a really nice feature. You typically don't find that in this segment of vehicle. Now, before we get inside, I want to show you guys, here's the door panel for the vehicle. You can see it still has the same soft touch injection molded plastic here. I really kind of wish they put more leather stitching here. You also have this beautiful genuine aluminum trim with aluminum accents here for the door handles, some beautiful ambient light strips, which I'll have to show you guys when I have one for a full week to test back home. And then of course, there's a new sound system for 2025. It's by Bang & Olufsen. So Acura has replaced the ELS Studio 3D sound system. This has the mid-trim audio, so it offers 19 speakers. It sounds incredible. If you guys are an audiophile, it's even better versus the ELS. And if you guys want something even nicer, the Type S offers their Bang & Olufsen Ultra sound system with up to 31 speakers. So that's absolutely insane. We're gonna post a separate video on that if you guys wanna see the sound system and all the features of the Type S trim. You can see you have more of that red leather with real stitching down here. It's all hard touch plastic down here with some nice storage cubbies. The window controls, they have a nice high quality tactile feel. And you also have power folding mirrors. And overall, the interior definitely makes a great first impression. Let me get inside. You can see with 7.3 inches of ground clearance, it has a pretty easy SUV step-in height. When I shut the door also has a really solid sounding thunk, so that adds to the impression of quality. Now here's the key fob for the vehicle. You can see this is Acura's latest intelligent access key. It's a pretty nice size. It also feels really good in your hands. You have remote start, lock, unlock, power liftgate, and panic, of course. When you want to start the vehicle up, the start-stop button is where you'd expect it to be. And then the engine has that typical V6 sound. And in fact, it doesn't even have like a unique starter sound because this vehicle is not a hybrid or a mild hybrid. It has a traditional noise that just fires up to life. Now the engine itself, I have to say, is actually relatively throaty sounding, so it will surprise you. And also, if you guys want a naturally aspirated V6, this is one of the few vehicles that actually technically offers it. Now, in terms of the rest of the interior, let's talk about the steering wheel. You can see this is the steering wheel exclusive to the A-Spec, but it's also kind of similar to the one that's in the Type S. You have a perforated leather right here with contrast red stitching. It's got a flat bottom design with the A-Spec badge here, metal paddles behind the steering wheel itself, and you also have some dedicated hard buttons here to control the 12.3-inch infotainment or instrument panel display, a heated steering wheel, and you also have your controls here to control the Acura Watch 360 Plus. The horn, it sounds pretty much what I expect considering the size of the vehicle. Nondescript, but at least it tells people to get out of the way. And then of course, looking at the rest of the dash, you have the same kind of real stitching here with leather covering the upper portion of the dash with the contrast red stitching. It also carries over down here with more of that beautiful aluminum trim. A little too much piano black plastic for me. You can see in the bright sun, you can really see all the dust and fingerprints all over that metallic black. So that's something that I'm assuming some of you will be constantly cleaning if you're a little OCD. And then as you can see over here, the infotainment display is one of the biggest changes because it looks the same as the pre-refresh model, but Acura has repositioned it and moved it forward. It now has Google built in with voice commands, and it still has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay that's wireless. So it's nice to see that this is now a touchscreen. As you can see, when I start going through the actual main system, it's definitely relatively quick and snappy and responsive. It also has Google Maps built in, which is essentially what you're going to find in your laptop computer, for example. It's really easy to use and it's snappy. And you also, as you guys saw, it still has Apple CarPlay, and you can also kind of make it a full screen Apple CarPlay, or you can also make it the split screen where you have like these little cards here that you can adjust and put different information here. I also love how easy it is to go from full screen to the dual screen look. I think that's just really nice. Although I will say that this 12.3-inch display is starting to look a little bit small. I was kind of hoping Acura would have gone to like a 14-inch display. Most of its competitors have at least that size of a screen, but this is still gonna get the job done, and it's also quick and easy to use. It also has Google voice commands, so I can say things like, "Okay, Google, tell me a joke."
Rolex and Timex, because they were watchdogs.
Okay, so again, it has a little bit of a sense of humor, but most of you are probably going to use it to tell you to find your favorite Starbucks or your closest Target or Costco. So again, the voice commands are going to be really easy to use, and I think a lot of people are going to appreciate that. Down here you can see you've got tri-zone automatic climate control. I also appreciate all the traditional buttons and knobs. You also have traditional buttons here for your heated and cooled seats, and you can see the massage seat is activated by pushing that button there. There's 9 different types of massage, which is a great feature to have. Your drive mode selector is here. You can see Acura offers a choice between like a normal, comfort, a snow mode, and then a sport mode along with an individual setting. So lots of different drive modes here. Push the Acura logo there to bring up the individual. This also controls your 10-speed auto. It's a push button style, hasn't really changed. When you put the vehicle into reverse, you can see it reveals the full 360 camera. Previously, you couldn't get a 360 camera with the A-Spec package, but now because it has the advanced package, it rolls in that feature. It has trajectory, cross-traffic braking, all that stuff that you pretty much expect. in today's modern vehicles. You can see, push that up, it reveals a USB-A and USB-C charging port. There's actually a volume knob here along with a tuning button, and then you can see without the true touchpad down here, Acura gave you a little bit more storage here for keys or your wallet or loose change. There's a big wireless phone, smartphone charger there, cup holders, and a nice padded center console here. If you open this up, it offers 2 different levels of storage and then 2 more USB A and C charging ports in there as well. Now, in terms of the seat comfort, they are very comfortable and supportive. They also hold you in place nicely. Like I mentioned, they adjust in 16 different ways. And then, of course, the glove compartment here, if you open that up, it's a bin style, it's damped, and it's lined with felt. In fact, the glove box door is actually covered in leather as well. So that's a really nice upscale touch that I wasn't expecting. Above me, you can see the panoramic glass roof, lets in a ton of light. It also opens up to vent air. And if you guys don't like that, you can also close this retractable shade, which, as you can see, the sun is out there pretty bright. I'll leave it open so you guys can see the extra light in the interior. But let's go ahead and take a look at the back seat area and show you guys what that space is like. Now, the MDX has always been an excellent family car, and this new version is obviously no exception. Now, I should point out, if you guys want captain's chairs, Acura doesn't offer it. They only offer this 3-piece bench, but if you want, you can fold down this, and it basically essentially creates 2 captain's chairs, which is nice. Or if you guys would like, you can also pull on this little strap here, and you can essentially take this seat out, which is not super heavy. It's just kind of awkward. The sad thing is when you take this out, you can see all of the latch points, the anchor points there, which kind of are an eyesore. I wish Acura offered some kind of like thing to cover it up. And then when you also take this out, you also probably notice there's no armrests here. So it's not a true captain's chair design. That's something to keep in mind. Competitors do offer the full-on captain's chairs. But let me go ahead and get back here and show you guys the space. Now, Acura says there's around 38.5 inches of legroom, which is a pretty decent amount. These seats also do give you the ability to slide further back. This is where I'd have the seat to drive. For somebody my height, there's a decent amount of space back here, good headroom space, good legroom space. There's a nice flat floor here for the middle passenger as well. You have your tri-zone climate, heated rear seats, but no ventilated rear seats. And then you have 2 USB-C charging ports, an actual 12-volt power outlet there. And you also have 2 storage cubbies. The door panel, you can see, has manual retractable shades, which is a nice feature on a hot sunny day. And you can see soft touch here, more aluminum here for the metal speakers for the Bang & Olufsen stereo, nice and padded here as well. So as you can see, the second row is definitely going to be a really nice place to spend time. Now, what about the third row? Because the MDX, while it is smaller on the outside, does have a little bit of a smaller third row compared to some rivals. Now, to get back here, there's a button that you can push down here. You can see that kind of hydraulically pushes the seat forward and gives you the ability to get into the back seat area. Now, I'm going to fold that down and show you guys what the space is like. First of all, you can also get rid of this if you don't have somebody sitting in the middle passenger seat. Now, moving the seat back, this is not all the way back. Acura says there's 29 inches of legroom back here. Now, 29 inches is definitely not a lot. Compared to the TX, it's down around 4.5 inches. And for somebody my height, you can see my knees are up against the seat here. This only seats 2 people across because the MDX isn't as wide as some competitors. You also have the headroom space here isn't wonderful, but it's doable. I mean, for somebody my height, I could sit back here on shorter trips, but just remember, your taller friends will definitely feel like this is a penalty area. You can see there are 2 USB-A charging ports, cup holders, hard touch plastic here, and then no third row air vents back here. So on a hot summer day or on a cold day, your third row passengers are either going to be sweating to death or they're going to be freezing to death. So I really wanted Acura to add vents back here. Sadly, they didn't. But overall, it's nice that the MDX comes standard with this, but just remember, if you actually need to put full-size adults and their stuff, you might want to check out some of the MDX's rivals. Now, for about as long as I can remember, Acura has been claiming that the MDX is the best-selling 3-row luxury branded SUV in America, and it's pretty easy to see why. This vehicle is incredibly well-balanced, and it's also well-priced. As you guys know, with the changes that Acura has made for 2025, it's pretty subtle. I mean, the exterior design changes, you literally have to squint at it or have the old model parked next to it. And for the most part, I think Acura has made some nice changes to the exterior design. I don't particularly love the wheels on this A-Spec model, but remember, there's still the base MDX, the MDX technology, and of course the MDX Advance, and then of course there's the Type S, which we're going to do a separate video on. The interior of this vehicle was already comfortable, luxurious, and full of a lot of great tech, but the big change that of course Acura made is the inclusion of Google built in and finally making it a touchscreen. Acura was sticking to that true touchpad interface for so long, which was fine when you got used to the vehicle, but I think the touchscreen just makes more sense. A lot of people in general just prefer a touchscreen versus using a true touchpad that was also a little bit wonky compared to other other touchpads like from Lexus, for example. The backseat of this vehicle also is still extremely comfortable, but again, if you want maximum legroom for the second and third row, or you want real captain's chairs, that's where some of the competitors also come into play. If you guys are looking for even more performance, obviously there's the Type S version, which we will show you guys a separate video on. And if you guys also want to see our impressions on how this model drives, be sure to go to our Type S review that's going to post on July 9th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will have the driving scenes from this powertrain here, so we can kind of compare the differences between the base V6 and of course the turbocharged V6. Now, if you guys can't wait that long and you have one of these at the top of your shopping list, the new MDX is already at Acura dealerships, and pricing for the new model has already been announced. It starts at $50,900 for the base MDX with front-wheel drive. If you guys want all-wheel drive, it'll cost you around $2,200 more, so just over $53,000. The MDX's price has been creeping up there slowly over the years. I remember when this car first came out in 2022, it had a base price of around 47 grand. Now, this is still among the more affordable options. A base price of a Lexus TX is around 55 grand, and Infiniti QX60 is around 49 grand, so it's technically cheaper, but I'd argue that the Acura is better versus the Infiniti counterpart. Now, if you guys want the A-Spec model, that's going to cost you at least $61,500, which is a pretty healthy chunk, but you get a ton of features, including the heated and ventilated seats, the appearance package, the 20-inch wheels. This model with the advanced package, however, is around 68 grand plus destination and the upcharge of the paint. You're looking at 69,650. So almost 70 grand for this model that I'm showing you here. Isn't that much far off from the Type S. If you want the Type S, it'll cost you an extra $7,000. So really, it's going to come down to which flavor of MDX you want. I think personally, the sweet spot of the MDX family is going to probably be the technology package model. It'll give you most of the features you want. It'll be in the mid to upper $60,000 range, but this model here at closer to 70 is definitely a pricey option, but just keep in mind a lot of its competitors are also around the same ballpark if you want something that's totally fully loaded. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2025 Acura MDX A-Spec with the new advanced package. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.